stranger.
Boxes. How y'all doing today?
What's up? What's up?
Yo, Joe. Oh, so glad you could make it.
Yeah.
Thank you for a delicious dinner last night too. I've never eaten so many mushrooms in my life as last night.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Yeah. I'm feeling it today too.
I didn't know that you didn't like them, so sorry about that.
You know, I'm trying to like mushrooms. I really want to, but yeah, it's tough for me to eat a mouthful of mushrooms, but
they're
you did a good job.
good for the brain. You know, you get some lion's mane in you, you feel like a superhuman. It's better than a cup of coffee.
I'm definitely feeling superhuman today. All right, let's go ahead and we will get this started. Welcome, 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 everybody. This is our weekly Ask Anyone Anything lunch. It's a safe space for anyone to ask any question about anything, and anyone can answer. I like to host and facilitate these meetings. I probably end up talking a lot, but it's not an Ask Willie anything, it's Ask Anyone anything. Anyone can answer. If you want to ask a question anonymously, there's this Google form. You can submit your questions there and we'll ask them anonymously. Or you can just raise your hand and come up, or you can just unmute and ask a question too. These meetings work the best when people do ask questions. And ideally, the questions don't have to be about crypto or ShapeShift, but those questions tend to be the best for discussion. But yeah.
Right, well, I'll jump it off
Jeff.
because I'm kind of new here. Just joined the ShapeShift DAO community, and honestly, just really joined the crypto craze in general. So I have about a zillion questions. Probably half a zillion then of them are pretty dumb, or pretty rudimentary. But I'd love to hear just from the community here, what's like the one thing that, if we could just go even around the room, the one thing that you wish that you had known when you first started getting into crypto and getting involved with these different communities? What's the one, tool that really helped you, or what's the one technology that you think really you wish you knew about early on? The Fox Rain, why don't we start off with you? Or miss, or never was, or Gotcha. Well, since you're a real person, what's your answer to that question, PT? Yeah. We'll love
Love that
it.
answer, PTT. And yeah, Joe, PTT is a great example of a community member who came in and asked questions and invested early, kind of aped in. And obviously, don't invest more than you're willing to lose, but probably some of the best ways to learn is just to try some stuff out. I got Joe set up on XDAI last night so he could play around for cheap and not have to pay gas fees on mainnet. Could still learn a lot. So yeah, great answer, Ron, and kudos to you for coming in and diving headfirst in. And yeah, I think it's crazy to see how far you've come and how knowledgeable you are from just joining in July in under a year. It's crazy. You are now hands down in the top 1%, if not top 0.1% or less in the world with crypto knowledge and expertise. So kudos to you, sir. Who else has a cool tip for Joe for something you wish you knew sooner when you first get into the space?
I would say, you say that you're sure that half of your questions are pretty stupid questions. They're not stupid questions. because even when you start talking to like Willie or PTT, it doesn't matter. They're all happy to sit down and explain what it is, no matter how stupid you feel like your questions are. And there are 300 other people who have the same question. So ask and just keep asking in wherever you go, whatever format it is.
Yeah, that's great to hear. It really does seem like the community is really egoless, especially within the DAO space, right? That's kind of the whole mentality of the DAO is remove the individual. And so it's really nice and welcoming to even with the brief interactions I've had within this Discord group, it's great to see that everybody's just has their ego largely dissolved and just wants to help build cool things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you have
as
a, if you
somebody,
go
oh,
ahead,
sorry, go ahead.
you go first.
As somebody who's come from other communities, I kind of wish I'd been able to sort through which communities were going to be nice, because that's a simple term. And yeah, I feel like I've gone around in circles for 8 years and finally found the nice people that I wanted to be with.
So there's two things that I wish I would have known. So I'll give you a double. For crypto in general, uh, information on the fees you pay to do things is often not well described. Right. So for example, the first time I bought crypto, I got slapped with a $150 fee from my bank. I was a little angry about that. Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I was gonna stake some Ethereum against Fox the other day, and I was just gonna do like $250 worth, and the gas fees were $250 as well.
right, yeah, on Ethereum, you have to watch gas fees anytime you're on mainnet extensively. Right. So that's my general crypto tip. And when it comes to DAOs, the tip that I have is that DAOs are largely permissionless, right? So and you can search for opportunities, but right now I think the more powerful approach is to create opportunities for yourself. You can write a proposal to get something done. You can have a meeting where you pitch some idea to do something to the workstream leader or to the community and just do it, right? So you don't have to wait for permission to do stuff in DAOs.
Yeah, I really
It's far
like
more
that.
effective to just do it.
And to be honest with you, I'm more of a operations products creative conceptor. I'm not really hands-on when it comes to technical side of things. So I'm trying to figure out how I fit within the workflows of this DAO because it feels like there's a lot of obviously a necessity for developers that know what they're doing. And I'm way too late to the game to start trying to do that, I feel.
Ah, I would. My piece of advice would be, don't feel that you're late. I mean, there's levels to where you can jump in, even with if for example, coding and developing. It's open source, the project open source, so you can take your time and read through the code, see if you get a build the understanding to it. If that's something you would choose to do, it's not something that you have to like jump in with 8 years of experience and to start contributing. You can do little things. You could write up docs, documentation and stuff. I know Seth, kind of uh, started out with his PRs, like in the documentation aspect of it, and making sure that it was easier for other contributors to understand the process. And so there's ways of getting into different areas. So I would just say don't ever like close a door thinking that the opportunity was missed. Just continue to like Seth said, create opportunity or build opportunity, and it might be better.
Yeah, one of the amazing things about DAOs is that you can work on what you want, not on what someone else wants per se. So
Yeah,
it's a
that
question of what excites you. What part of the DAO do you think needs improvement that isn't being worked on, or that you could add value to?
yeah. This all makes a lot of sense, and I really appreciate you all taking the time to kind of give your insights. You know, I don't want to take up too much of this meeting time and let you guys chat about the future of the DAO so I can see where all your guys' heads at. But thanks for the warm introduction, and I'm excited to dive into this all and see what we can do together.
Yeah, let's DAO it, Joe. Excited for you to dive into it too. And yeah, you've heard from a lot of great community members who just dove right into it. And those are I really appreciate all the community members who have or who are inspirations who have shown that it's possible just to come in and, just like they're saying, figure out what you're interested in, how you can add value, and then get rewarded and, evolve into a full-time contributor. And we're down it now. I'm loving it. Like this is such a new concept that the masses really have no idea about yet, but we're all living it day to day and we're seeing it firsthand. And truly, like the DAO, I had the pleasure of coming from centralized ShapeShift, where I got to see how we operated before. And we are moving faster than we ever did at centralized ShapeShift. And it's just awesome. But like just being hanging out with the community here with no borders between the core team, the community members, the users, other projects and stuff. It really is a pretty incredible phenomenon. So I'm excited for you to experience it. For anyone who doesn't know, Joe is my co-founder at my first startup. He was like my right-hand guy. We worked really hard, basically dropping out of college to build a Web2 startup, and learned a lot. It was an amazing journey. But I wish, unfortunately, Joe didn't come into crypto with me, so we kind of got separated at the end of the first startup, went in slightly different directions, and ever since then I've been trying to get Joe to come back into crypto, and he's been busy working on other awesome stuff. So finally now the stars are aligning, and I'm hopeful that we can get it. Just what is the word? Give him to take everyone give him red pills so that we can really ensure that he sticks around.
Yeah, but the only regret in my life is not jumping on the Bitfrag train. But you live and you learn.
Totally, it's not too late.
That's awesome. Well, welcome, Joe. Really appreciate you joining the community, and Willie knows a lot of people and brings a lot of great contributors into the community. So I can already see that, if you choose to stick around, that it's going to be very beneficial to both the community and yourself. So welcome and glad to have you.
Oh yeah, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. I've already made that mistake before.
Thanks, never was. Yeah, I actually have a call tomorrow with somebody who's Joe's interviewing with for a reference, and I'm gonna be like, we want Joe, so you guys should not hire him, but which will probably just make them want him more. So we'll see. But yeah, at least in your free time, it'll be great I think I'm so excited that you're gonna be learning, and I know you're gonna just love it and be really excited the more you learn.
Yeah. Plus, then I'll have a lot of USD that I can just convert to Fox.
There we go. Hell yeah. Cool. Welcome, Joe.
Yeah,
All right.
we have an education team now. I'm a member of it, and so if you run into problems, you can go to the growth work stream and the education project, and let us know whatever issues you're facing. One of our focuses is on documentation to help new people get up to speed. So we're here for you.
Aw.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was digging through that yesterday. I'm still trying to read through all of this Discord, which is there's just a lot of really really good stuff here. So I'm kind of inching along here, but I'll be joining that growth work stream probably within this next week here.
Yeah, I have a Discord tip for you. There's an option called hide muted channels. Mute all the channels that don't interest you, and that will
Okay.
greatly help you to simplify and lower the complexity of Discord navigation.
Great. Thank you so much for that.
Great tip. Love the new name, by the way, DeFi Seth. Who knows? Maybe in a few months we'll have DeFi Joe.
Yeah, I got earned that badge.
That's right.
Yeah, for those who don't know, I evolved over the weekend. I'm staking on Tokamak. I'm set up my corporation for Opolis, so I'm going in on DeFi.
All in, baby. That's really the direction things go. I very rarely see people come into this crypto space, or especially DAOs, and go back to Web 2. It's like it's a one-way street. Once you come in and experience it and stuff, you tend to stick around. So
I don't know why, Seth, but when I first saw the new name, for some reason I thought Darth Seth. But you know, I don't know. I must have been Star Warsing it for the moment. But great name, man.
When we last met, I was but the learner. Now I am the master.
all right, this is a great conversation so far. Who's got another question or topic that they'd like to discuss? Oh, and in fact, I think we got one in the anonymous forum. Where did that go?
So I have a technical question
Go ahead.
that I'd like to ask. So something that I'm working on is a document to help people understand what apps are available or dApps are available on layer 2. And in order for people to use layer 2, if they're paid on XDAI, they need the ability to bridge to other layer 2s, right? So for example, I want to bridge my XFox onto Arbitrum because Arbitrum has Rory Capital support, so I can lend out my layer 2 crypto. But the problem I've run into is all of the bridges that I've seen only let you bridge things like ETH. They don't let you bridge ERC20 tokens. So are there any bridges that support ERC20 tokens from XDAI to other chains? Or am I out of luck? Do I need to move it to mainnet and then move it to Arbitrum, which would require eating 2 gas fees?
So there are bridges that allow you to transfer ERC20 tokens. The one from XDAI is called OmniBridge. This allows you to transfer any ERC20 token between Ethereum mainnet, Binance Smart Chain, Gnosis Chain, and POA network. So there's not a direct bridge to Polygon or to Arbitrum. Let's see if there is. You can use Hop Protocol to go from Arbitrum or from Gnosis Chain to Arbitrum. But like you said, they only support ETH, USDC, USDT, Matic, or DAI. So in that case, what you could do is you could trade, of course, your funds on XDAI or on Gnosis Chain for something else, then bridge them over to Arbitrum or whichever network you're trying to go to, and then swap them back. This is a problem that hopefully we can help solve at ShapeShift. There's a growing number of these bridges. What we can really do well is aggregate all the bridges so that, like you were doing, Seth, you were having to jump to a bunch of specific bridges and be like, oh, what tokens do they support? What network do they support? ShapeShift, you should just be able to come to one screen and see for all the different bridges we have integrated, and for any specific token, okay, what networks can I bridge to? And then maybe we'll even have multiple bridges that support the same path, and then we'll route users to whichever bridge is going to be the best for them in terms of overall fees.
Yeah, that would be great, but it sounds like it would be some time before that happens because we don't have layer 2 support in general yet.
That layer 2 support is coming super soon. Decentralized J is working on the spec for that now, and it's going to be something that we are able to bounty out because we've talked about this, Seth. The hard part of these layer 2s is the Ethereum support, and we've got the Ethereum support. So that's coming soon. And then one of the next really big things on the roadmap is bridging between at least Ethereum and Cosmos is kind of the first place we want to start because we've identified that as a really great kind of next milestone to aim for. That's kind of leverages everything we've already built with the new V2 and the direction we're going in, and is also a problem that we're in a good position to solve because there's not right now a lot of wallets that support both Ethereum and Cosmos and have a bridge between them. And John, what's the deal with Gravity Bridge? When's Gravity Bridge?
So, yeah, I was just going to say I'm super happy to hear that because I think that's a great idea. We can be one of the leaders on being a bridge between Cosmos and ETH. But Gravity Bridge is technically live as of like last week, I think. I don't know if it's really being used much yet, or I don't know what the limitations are. You should definitely look into that because I think it technically exists as of last week.
Nice. Yeah, we were talking about this with product engineering last week when we were having roadmap discussions, and there's a lot of excitement and consensus around that as a next milestone because, again, we've already got Ethereum support. Soon we'll have Cosmos support, and soon after that, Osmosis support. And there's just not a lot of wallets that support both, let alone a bridge between. And that's a really great opportunity for us to capture these users that are using both Ethereum and Cosmos, want to go between, and want to do that all in one place.
Yeah, totally agree. We should get a spec on that built ASAP if we can. Like whoever's going to work on that should look into what Gravity Bridge can do today. It might already, I think that like it might already do what we need it to do, and the only problem is like UI UX issues.
Amazing.
So
okay,
that would be a perfect opportunity for us to step in.
We'll get that going ASAP. I wonder too if they might even want to. Could be a cool partnership thing. Do they have a token, John? Gravity Bridge?
So I think they don't have a token yet, but I think they're probably going to launch one. I heard someone talking about that on like the Osmosis Twitter Spaces earlier today, and I think they said they have a module to let people vote on airdrops. So like there may be like a token voted by their community into existence. I don't fully understand how it works, to be honest. I'm not as up to speed as I should be, but I don't think there's a token yet, but there could be one coming, is the TLDR.
Sweet. Cool. Yeah, I'm curious if there's any, maybe we can do like a co-bounty thing or some sort of cool partnership. We should look into it, like you're saying. So we'll make sure. I know it's like definitely at the top of our roadmap. Decentralized J right now is working on the spec for other EVM networks, because that's also some low-hanging fruit that we know is going to add a lot of value. And also for any of these EVM networks that 0x is already supported on, we'll be able to have trading on them with their existing API integration. It's the same API for these different EVM networks. So that's going to be huge. And then again, we want to do this bridge in a way where the initial milestone that we think is the great thing to aim for first is bridges between Ethereum and Cosmos, but then also just aggregating bridges and making it really easy for users to go between these Ethereum layer 2s is also going to be a really big trend throughout 2022 that we want to get ahead of.
Yeah, I mean those EVMs and the bridge to Cosmos doing something Gravity, all those may make great bounties. So, which is definitely something worth looking into.
Totally. And actually, that reminds me, product does have some bridge UI UX that we've already done before that we can start with.
All right, I'll keep a close eye on that. If that's coming soon, then I think I'll put less emphasis on my layer 2 document until then, because no point in doing it now and then needing to modify it later. I think if our platform gets that bridge up, that would greatly simplify things for our users. So I'm definitely going to keep an eye on that.
Agreed. It was fun too. Last night I was helping Joe get set up with crypto, and it was just a reminder to, like, first of all, it was really frustrating. I wanted him to send him some crypto on XDAI so he could learn and play around with low gas fees. And we couldn't do that yet he has a keep key and a ShapeShift native wallet set up, and it's like, we got to go freaking use MetaMask. And even then, still, it's like so hard for a new user to interact with DeFi. And I got a really good reminder of that last night, sitting next to Joe, and like I'm trying to explain all these concepts and gas. He's like, "Oh, what's this? Gas limit on the Etherscan and stuff." I'm like, "Oh my god, this is so advanced already." And it's like there's so much opportunity for ShapeShift to help make this so easy for a new user. I can't wait for us to do this.
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah.
Yeah, to be completely honest with you, it would have taken me probably 2 days to figure out just everything that you went through, and I probably would have spent hundreds of dollars on transaction fees. So it's definitely coming into it new. There really isn't very many good resources that explain how to. I mean, I'm sure there's good resources, but there's no good UX that carries you through the process and just gets everything set up how you want it to be set up.
Yeah, that is precisely the reason I joined the education team. I realized that our infrastructure is one of the most lacking things, so I'm like, I gotta get in on this. And yeah, crypto is definitely not mass market ready yet, right? We're like the internet in the early 2000s, except we're going twice as fast.
Well said.
And so, the idea is there, and there's value in it, but it's just the infrastructure needs more time to develop. And yeah, I agree, the tutorials are not great.
And that's basically
for a new user.
That's what we're building, Joe, and everyone is. We're getting crypto ready for the masses and doing that in a way that does not sacrifice financial sovereignty or privacy or security, enables people to actually hold their own keys. So yeah, if you've ever heard of, like, we often get called the non-custodial Coinbase, and I hope we can live up to that, because yeah, Coinbase is probably the gold standard for making it easy and educating people, but they're doing that all in a custodial fashion, and we have an opportunity to do that, to be the non-custodial version.
IRC, baby.
Oh yeah, and then do all the cool DeFi stuff that they can't do. Yeah.
Sorry, I had to throw that in there because Seth brought up the beginning days of the internet. Boy, I tell you, the early adopters, we were all in those little rooms and AOL online and all that garbage crap. Boy, I tell you, we come a long way.
So true. It's all the early adopters right now, and then we're getting it ready for the masses. I don't think there's going to be any option to pick up Swaggy Denver, but feel free. Steve's in the Discord. Just tag him. We do have a meeting with him later, and I can ask him that. But I don't want myself to be the messenger man between me and this merch store. So please, everyone, just feel free to DM Steve directly when you guys have questions about this. Yeah. Okay, and maybe DM him too. We'll chat this afternoon, and I can ask that because we'll be chatting, and also just make a plea for him to get into the Discord. So I'm not a blocker there. Trying to really remove myself as a middleman wherever I can and delegate stuff, especially because there hasn't been enough time in the day lately.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I thought you were designated the king of merch.
I do like that title. Merch King, Merch Lord. But yeah, on update on the ShapeShift merch store. We're getting the demo of it. So I haven't seen it yet, but me, Green Machine, Toasty, Nick, Hoff, anyone else who wants to join this afternoon, we're getting a demo at 3 p.m. of the new merch store. We got store.shapeshift.com set up today to redirect to it. And Green Machine's working on a sweet launch video. So yeah, we are on track to launch the merch store in a couple days. Also, just on a related note, not set in stone yet, but we had a cool call with Keep Key team and Steve yesterday about a Keep Key merch store and also having Keep Keys in the ShapeShift merch store. And we're still figuring out exactly what it's going to look like, but it might be possible. Steve's recommendation was just to kind of combine the two and basically have like the Keep Key merch. They just have one store where we have, because the communities are so close, and basically the ShapeShift store just sells Keep Keys and Keep Key swag. And the Keep Key pushes people to this store that also has ShapeShift swag. So still TBD, but those conversations are happening right now.
Something that I can definitely help out with too. I have a clothing line that's just kind of a side project, and I've done a bunch of consulting for e-commerce companies. So I can tell you a lot of what not to do. If there's any need to with help building the website, or whatever needs to be helped with there.
Oh, you saw it, Willie. He raised his hand. He's now hooked. He's in the DAO. He can't go nowhere. He's now going to be, one of the kings of merch.
We got him.
We got him.
Thanks, Joe. Really appreciate that. Yeah, Joe's. Yeah, you do have some great clothing experience. Black Tuesday, if anyone wants to see the kind of the really cool clothing that they created. All right. Yeah, Joe, it would be really cool. Maybe we can get some cool like Black Tuesday ShapeShift swag, because there's this cool partnership with Meta Factory, and they are always looking for like unique types, not just like a regular t-shirt or regular hat, but like how can we create some sort of unique swag. And they were always doing cool stuff where it's like capes or like diagonal. It's like very techno clothing, if anyone knows what like cyberpunk style.
Yeah. Avant-garde.
There we go, avant-garde. And maybe we can do some avant-garde ShapeShift merch. Thank you guys for the reminder. We got an anonymous question. Question is there room for a proposal to help the DAO be more organized? Parentheses, not centralized. So I want to open this up to anybody to answer. I'm a little confused though, because organized and not centralized, those aren't necessarily antonyms, right?
That's a little bit too good too. Like what do they mean by organized?
Yeah, is there room for proposal? There's always room for proposals. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the main purpose of proposals is to request funding to do something. Now, it's not always the case, but it seems a little strange to write a proposal to alter the organization of the DAO. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, someone could ask for funding to be paid to like do some organizational things for the DAO, but we would just need more specifics, I think. So I think to Willie's point, we're always open to proposals, but you would definitely have to get a lot more detail on what that means.
Mm-hmm.
I think that should start by trying to meet with the people involved and see what they think about it. You know, not everything needs to be proposal first.
Very true. Proposals are one tool available to us, but coordination is something we can do all day without proposals. And I definitely will say, I don't think anybody thinks the DAO is like perfectly organized or even very organized. And no offense to anybody, we're building this plane while flying it for sure. So I think there's probably, can we do better to be organized? Yes. And if anyone has ideas for how to do that, I'd love to see proposals for this. In terms of not centralized, that part kind of throws me off, because I think that, also, again, if you have any proposals for how to be more decentralized, yes, would love to hear those. But I think we are pretty, as far as it goes, we are on the spectrum of pretty decentralized and trending to be more decentralized, which is the trend, right?
Yeah.
No one goes full decentralized on day one. It's progressive decentralization, and I think we're doing an incredible job in really pioneering there.
Yeah, from my view, and that doesn't mean we don't have lots to improve on, but we do. But we're definitely one of the more decentralized, truly decentralized DAOs at this point. I've seen a lot of these other DAOs out there, and I think anyone who observed the entire Wonderland saga over the last week or so, there are some much less decentralized DAOs, quote unquote, out there.
Oh my gosh, that was too funny. If anyone has that tweet that they could post of, and we really like Daniel, but he posted something. He was like, "All right, from now on, I'm running the DAO." It's like, okay, that is a dictatorship. That is the opposite of a DAO.
Yeah, he said he's going to directly manage the DAO from now on, and he's created some awesome projects, but I think ours is significantly more decentralized than the average DAO.
Agreed. All right. Any other questions there, or go ahead?
So I got a question about that. So when it comes to organization of the DAO, I know you have that that kind of org chart that shows, hey, here's the DAO, here are the workers, etc. Do you have anything currently that's like a flow chart of all of the different projects and who is involved with each of the projects?
Yes and no. So I'm going to post a thing here of the this is our Sobel circle. Hopefully people should be able to see this. This shows you like each of the different work streams and the contributors within them, and we got like little profiles for everybody. That's pretty cool. Gray Machine is actually working on an updated version of the that org structure chart, because we've got some new work streams and stuff. So is that Gray Machine, you want to talk about some of the changes you're making on that org structure chart?
Yeah, because we need it like yesterday, I'm just updating it, but I have been thinking through that it still looks, like at a glance, it still does look like a very traditional top-down org chart. And I wonder if we want to rethink the layout of it to make it more, I don't know, indicative of decentralization, like decentralized authority, rather than this sort of like, ShapeShift at the top, and it kind of flows downward.
Yeah, I think the key is that, I think you're right, it does kind of look like that Gray Machine. The key, obviously, is that at the very top, all these work streams are reporting to this thing called the DAO. But maybe we need to even make multiple versions eventually, because I think some people would actually prefer that version, because it'll make more intuitive sense to what they're used to. But it would be nice to have something else that shows how decentralized it actually is, other than just this executive at the top called DAO.
I was just thinking, maybe we just like flip it upside down, or we just make the token holders box the biggest, so it's clear like this is the biggest group, it's this token holders box, whereas right now they're kind of the smallest. But yeah, I love where your head's at there, Gray Machine.
Or maybe even just like putting a bunch of dots that represent, thousands of token holders at the top. Something that shows that this is many people, not one person. I think that's the key.
Totally. But yeah, if anyone can come up with a good creative solution there, I think it's the Gray Machine. So
I do really like the node view of this. It kind of does give it more of a decentralized look to it.
Oh yeah, there's this node view too. Let's post a screenshot. Yeah. But yeah, too, I mean, so we're actively trying to be more organized and stuff, and some of the stuff, like we're moving so quickly and things are changing so quickly that we're not going to always have like up-to-date organization and structure, but I think something we can do better for sure.
Yeah,
Also
and this
check
might
out-
be
Go ahead.
this might be just kind of creating problems for the sense of creating problems, but it could be nice to just automate everything. So when people collect a bounty or when people propose a bounty or whatnot, it's just added automatically to this org chart. I don't know if that's possible or not.
For Sobel, sort of. For the Sobel one, yeah, it'll be as soon as like we add someone to a role. It's not 100% automatic, but it's pretty easy for a workstream leader to add them to the org chart. The other one, yeah, that's a cool idea for like maybe we can have something like that one day. For now, it's a little bit manual, but I think that's okay.
I feel like we're conflating a couple things here within the org chart and bounties. Is there like a super benefit to having like the bounties inside the org chart?
Is it? Yeah, I don't think we necessarily need to have the bounties in the org chart. I think that's a good point. It's funny that you say that though, because the education workstream is talking to a founder of a product called Share, and they're basically building. It's the whole tool is for onboarding community members into like contributors, helping them find the relevant work streams that they're interested in and like the available jobs and tasks and stuff. And it does have like the org chart and the bounties, as well as just like some introductory information all in one place. And that is pretty slick. So I am looking forward to that. But what they're building, I think what they're building is really slick, and ShapeShift has the opportunity to help inform the roadmap and be one of the first projects on it, as well as invest Fox tokens if we wanted to. I'm talking to him about that right now, so more details to come soon. But he's a very experienced and successful Web2 founder that's diving into Web3, and I think maybe we won't have to necessarily solve this problem ourselves, and we can just kind of build on top of or leverage some of these awesome tools that people are building.
It would be cool to have as part of the org chart, like kind of known, not bounties themselves, but like known or like bounty contributors that have built a reputation, just because it kind of shows like a whole nother part of the org that is part of the DAO. That's something you would not see in a traditional org chart, but is absolutely relevant to us.
I love
Even
that.
Something as simple as showing the reputation score on Colony could go a long way there.
That's interesting, and maybe we could get that. I know Sobel does let you consume data from API endpoints and stuff, so maybe we could have that kind of automatically just show people's rep. But yeah, to your point, John, Sobel right now supports this, and so we can, and we should be doing it. I think it's a great idea. Is like if we have a bounty contributor that's clearly a regular bounty contributor, they should have the workstream role, right, and then they can log into Sobel, and we have roles, and we have some examples of roles in there for like as needed contributors. Like that's where I'm in product, is kind of as an as needed role. We have for the profiles, everyone in Sobel has a profile that they should fill out, and if you haven't filled out your profile, we were just talking about in a leadership meeting, please go in there and put more details in there. And one of the questions is like, what's your bandwidth? And you can choose full-time, part-time, bounties only, please, as needed. So Sobel's a pretty cool tool, and we're only just scratching the surface of what we can do with it.
Yeah, that would be super cool, because it would also be helpful to like people who want to post bounties. They could know like who's like an initial good stable of people to reach out to who might be interested, especially if it said anything about like what they do, and what kind of bounties they pick up.
Totally. You can put your skills in there, which work streams you're interested in. So yeah, I invite everyone should be able to just log into Sobel with your Discord. As long as you're I think you have a W role, a work stream role, you'll have access and can create a profile and edit it. If your role is not already in there, just work with your workstream leader to get the role added to the workstream. Cool. I'm trying to remember how that conversation started, but was it just around the org chart?
Yeah, it started around the anonymous question around organization.
Yeah. And yeah, that's just another good note too. So just looking back, like that org chart was literally created like the weekend before we launched the DAO, basically. And it was like, the plan was like, okay, we're launching a DAO. How can we set it up for success? How can we, once we're a DAO, it's up to the community going forward. We don't want to have, centralized ShapeShift saying this is the way anything has to be. But it's like, how can we give the DAO a bunch of tools to start with? Here's an org chart. And if community wants to throw it away and do something different, they can. It's up to them going forward. But at least here's a gift to the community, a starting place. But yeah, I think we should. I'm glad we're going back to the governance process and updating it. I'm glad we're updating this org chart. The organizational structure in general. If anyone has, again, anytime you have ideas for how to improve anything we're doing, we want to hear them. It's up to us as a community to DAO the best we can. All right. Any other thoughts or on that subject, or does anyone want to bring up another question or topic?
Is the best place to pose ideas just the general
incubation? Incubation is like a dedicated channel for posting, kind of just like no matter how early the idea is, you can post it and get feedback.
Cool.
That
general works too. Okay.
The forum post is also a good repo for that too. It's outside of Discord. But the forum post, you can post any form of an idea and we'll help you shape it into a proposal too if that's its intended goal.
So this is a really interesting point that came up in the education meeting yesterday when we were looking at how Discord is organized, and the concept that we have an incubation channel in Discord, but we also have a place for it in the forum, and then we're looking at having potentially a incubation stage that's required in the governance process, but it doesn't necessarily take place in Discord. We want it to happen in the forum. And how, like, and Joe, maybe you can comment on this, how absolutely confusing that is of where do you go, but also wanting to make sure that we've got the right conversations taking place in the right places.
I mean, Jeff. It's a little overwhelming to begin with, but once you dig into each of the channels, it does make sense. I think the only concern is if people come in and they get overwhelmed and say, this is just too much, and I'm just gonna turn the other way, which honestly might be a good thing, because if they're able to just kind of shut down and step away from the project that quickly, maybe it's almost like a barrier to entry. But then at the same time, is barrier to entry a good thing for the DAO in general as well?
Yeah, I really like the idea of keeping barriers as low as we can. And I want to acknowledge this is a really hard problem. I think every DAO, like, it's a huge, really big challenge. Probably one of the biggest challenges. Like, what's the best governance process we can come up with? Process that's secure. It's got low barriers. It's accessible. It's easy to understand, but it has low barriers too. And so I think you're asking the right questions, Miss. And I like kind of how this new addendum's shaping out. If anyone hasn't checked it out yet, check out the forum and please add your thoughts to the addendum to the governance proposal that Miss is spearheading. But I think it's fine. Just, I really like the idea of keeping barriers low as possible. So I don't think we should say, hey, it's a requirement to go post your idea in Discord. We've kind of already aligned on that we are adding a new incubation requirement in the discourse in the forum before it goes to ideation. So I think that was good. But I also like, I think we can say that if you want to, Discord is the easiest place to get a discussion started and get the fastest response, basically. And there's no requirements to post an idea in Discord. And then we have the required process, but I think that's fine. I think we have one of the more clear, stronger governance processes out there, and I think the evidence is in the fact that we've had so many proposals that have gone through and that have gotten so much engagement and feedback, and we're just going to keep doing it better.
Oh, absolutely, I agree. Any thoughts on potentially renaming the incubation channel in Discord to something else so that it's not confused with the potentially required step of incubation in the process? That's kind of, and Seth, maybe you can speak to this too. That's kind of what we had talked about yesterday, is maybe does it make sense to rename the Discord channel or rename the step in the governance process so there isn't overlap confusion?
So maybe it's just me, but I kind of like that they're named the same thing, because like if I post something in the forum, but I want to go talk with people about it in a live forum like Discord, then I know that that's a good place to like basically talk about things going through incubation. So from my perspective, that actually makes sense.
I'm with John in this camp too. I also think that making incubation a required step might be a step too far here. I think if the goal is that we want people to be able to access it with low barrier to entry of all these, being able to access it just via the forum or just Discord is like a nice plus there, and having it be optional. So if someone actually comes in with something a little more structured of a formal idea and they can skip the incubation phase to really get down to it, I think that's been beneficial in previous proposals and still will be a viable option for us that doesn't make that timeline of having a incubation phase that lasts a minimum amount of time be added on top of the other phases that take time.
Yeah, that is where we are right now. We started with this optional incubation thing, and it was like encouraged, but it wasn't a required step, and you could just skip to ideation. But then we had pushback, from the community a couple times, basically on the posts that did skip that like incubation step and went straight to ideation. And the proposal creators like, well, hey, this isn't a required step, So I think that was kind of at least what started the discussion of should we add this a required incubation stage. And I'm a little bit torn too, but I think I heard enough feedback in arguments in the forum and some people who had thought about it a lot and gone through the process that they wanted to try, at least give it a try. And so we agreed, all right, let's give it a try. And then we can always, if we decide it's not working as well, we can always remove that required step too.
So yeah, I actually like making it required just because it's like an initial, you must make a forum post and solicit. But Willie, you mentioned something today that I wasn't aware of, or maybe I missed when I read that proposal for the governance changes about actually having a for and against poll during that initial incubation phase. And I that's a part where I don't know that I would like that. I kind of felt like the barrier should just be simply you must make a forum post that's up for 48 hours for discussion. But it kind of feels like we're just duplicating ideation if you have to get voted forward from incubation.
Yeah, let's chat about that. That was, I don't think you're the only one who feels that way. I was the one who actually suggested, if we're going to make this incubation step required, why would we not, it's not a much higher barrier to add a forum or a poll to your forum post. And if we're going to make it required, then first of all, as a proposal creator, it is valuable. I like whenever I put a first idea up there, it's like, do you guys like this or not? It's good to get signaled. It's just see, like in general, do people like this idea? Should I spend time pushing this forward into a draft proposal and stuff, or do people just not like this idea and I need to go back to the drawing board or work on something else? Plus, it's like, yeah, if we're going to make it required, then at least it's like, do we if people were to vote against the idea in the incubation stage, do we want it moving forward to ideation? So that was my thoughts, but I don't have strong feelings. And if you guys prefer to remove the poll, let's chat about it.
So, I mean, getting the feedback makes sense to me. It's just that 48 hours is not a very long time. And so a lot of people in the community who might support or might be against it might not see it. And I guess it will just get it again in ideation. But I think that makes it more confusing. Like, I think if you have two stages where there's a for or against poll, like that's the kind of thing that seems very confusing to me. Versus you have the step without a poll, you have the step with a poll, you have snapshot.
Yeah, good points. Any other thoughts on this? Strong feelings, especially.
Well, I think a step without a poll makes sense because it gives the idea is to give the community time to think about it before voting on it, right? So I don't think having to vote for it twice or 3 times total makes sense. But no poll, then poll, and then snapshot does make sense to me if that's the path we're going to go down.
I am also team no poll because when I look at, okay, what stage is this in? Yes, I know I can go to like what category it's posted in, but Willie can attest to the fact that I get confused on what category to post my own stinking proposals in. So it's been super helpful to just see, like, if there's no poll, I know it's in forum. If there's a poll, I know it's in ideation, and I probably have to pay more attention to it.
Yeah, that's kind of how I think that's why I said it would confuse me even, because that's kind of how I know where it is in the process. I know if I see the poll, oh, this is an ideation. If I don't see the poll, okay, this is just an idea right now. Like, so it makes it easier. I think at the moment that there's polls in both, it actually makes things far more confusing.
Okay, cool. Well, you guys, I'm willing to say let's go no poll. You guys have convinced me. Does anyone want to make a case for polls, or can we get some consensus before Miss puts this up for ideation? All right, looks like we're going no polls for incubation. I think you guys made a good point that like worth it just if we can make it more clear, less confusing. Worth it for that alone. All right, we got
Thanks,
9 minutes. Yeah, thank you guys. And I think this is a relevant question because I believe Ocean's about to put a proposal up. Ocean, do you want to get any quick incubation while we're all here? Give us a sneak peek.
Yeah, actually, I did just post it, although still was kind of tweaking the formatting a little bit. But there is a new forum post in the tokenomics workstream forum for discussion around Foxy and some of the pieces that we will need to come together as a community on to vote for. So feel free to give that a look. I can give a brief summary of them here also, if that's what you're after, Willie. I'm not sure if you were just kind of wanting me to intro it or actually give a little brief summary too.
Yeah, that was a great intro, and I would be interested in just a brief summary while we've got everyone's attention because this is a big one.
Cool. Yeah, so for everyone that doesn't know what Foxy is, if there is anyone out there that doesn't, originally it was SFox. So yeah, sorry for the confusion there. But Foxy is basically this staking system that allows depositors to stake their Fox to receive Foxy. Foxy is a rebasing ERC20 token, which basically means that as rewards accrue, you will see the balance of Foxy that you own in your wallet increase. And Foxy is redeemable 1-to-1 for Fox. There is some liquidity constraints that are being worked on, meaning that you won't be able to withdraw Foxy necessarily immediately because we're going to have to follow some cycles of tokamak, which is where we're generating the yield from. But those will be short, so somewhere on the magnitude of like a week that you do and need to lock your Fox up for to receive these rebasing rewards. It's pretty cool because it not only does it give us current utility, but it also unlocks a path for us to distribute Fox in a lot of different ways for a lot of different reasons. In the future, we could vote as a community on Fox buybacks from revenues from the DAO that could be distributed to stakers. Really, there's a very kind of a long list of possible ways that we could reward stakers with this system, and so it's pretty sweet. There was a bounty that was created by Born, and that bounty is being worked on by Toshi. And so hopefully sometime early Q2, this would be deployed to mainnet and live for people to interact with. And the system requires a couple of different votes. One, first off, is a vote for us to adopt it, right? For basically us to deploy the smart contract suite on behalf of the DAO and then transfer the ownership to the DAO. So that would be the first vote that would need to occur. The next vote would be that we would like there to be a way for people to access liquidity immediately. So imagine that we have this 1 week lockup period. Maybe you have a personal emergency and need funds out, or we want liquidators to be able to liquidate Foxy for other interactions in other DeFi ecosystems. So by creating a pool of liquidity, we could allow people to exit immediately and pay a small penalty to do so. And so the current proposal talks about the DAO essentially posting Fox in this liquidity pool that would allow people to exit immediately. And then the DAO would also earn that small penalty that's paid from people that do require immediate liquidity. And then the third piece of it is that in the current system, we're using the Fox that's being deposited into the system to then go on and deposit into tokamak. And the way that we generate the yield is that we get toke rewards from that Fox. That toke needs to be transferred somehow into Fox. And so the proposal currently talks about having the TMDC being put in charge of that process. So toke rewards could be transferred to the TMDC to decide either that maybe we want to keep those in treasury, and then therefore they wouldn't sell them, but they would still reward stakers with the appropriate amount of Fox. Or the TMDC could decide to sell it for Fox. And so there's a couple different possible outcomes there. And by having a committee that would be in charge of this allows us to be a little bit more nimble. If different market conditions or different treasury conditions warrant us holding more toke, we could do it. And so, or they could maybe liquidate that toke to a stable coin and still reward Fox out to the stakers. So it kind of gives us some flexibility there. So that's kind of the rundown of the three pieces in the proposal, and kind of what the post is all about.
Awesome. Thank you for that excellent overview on Foxy and this proposal. But yeah, it's good questions. I'm looking forward to hearing everyone's thoughts on this. How's Foxy? Oh, go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, quick question. So it's one proposal. Is the idea you think it's going to be either yes on all or no on all? Is that the way you'll structure the proposal?
I think actually probably may be multiple proposals would be the easiest way to handle it. Right now, I kind of just posted this to get the ball rolling and the discussion with the community. But even within some of those pieces, for instance, the Fox liquidity reserve that the DAO may post, we would need to decide on amount that the DAO would post and also a percent penalty that we want to enforce. So there's some nuance in here, but really kind of want to get the community involved and this out in the open. So that was kind of the purpose of the initial post.
Yeah, got it.
So
cool.
A couple thoughts on that real fast, Ocean, is I actually think I would prefer to see it as one proposal because it's kind of like accept this package of things or not, or let's discuss. Basically, if there's not enough support for all of them, we should have a real discussion about why, because that will really change the design of Foxy otherwise and things we're planning to do with it. And I'd also suggest that perhaps on the question of like what fee to set, we should definitely get feedback from the community, but maybe that's another thing that should be delegated to something like the TMDC to set going forward, because you might need to change that quickly without a governance vote. Like if there's like a big run on people taking out Fox out of that liquidity pool, it might make sense to let TMDC quickly adjust it upwards to basically incentivize more liquidity to stay in or things like that. So just a thought.
Yeah, that's a great thought for sure. And I'm super flexible on how we package this. Definitely think that makes sense to make it maybe simpler for us to move forward as a single proposal. So yeah, already getting good feedback.
Nice. The wisdom of the crowd. Any other questions or feedback on this Foxy community discussion? All right. Check out the forum post if you haven't already. It's in the stage chat. Thanks again, Ocean, John, and Josh. We got 2 minutes left. Anyone got burning thoughts or question they want to try and squeeze in before we wrap this up? All right. Well, thank you again, everybody, for the great questions and engagement and just for being you, making this the best day ever. One reminder, if you haven't already, if you're going to be at ETH Denver, but you haven't signed up for the ShapeShift parties, definitely grab your tickets to that. I'll post the links a second in the stage chat. Also, if you're going to ETH Denver, make sure you sign up for as many events as you can before they fill up. Those fill up quickly. And if you're not coming out to Denver, you can still attend virtually. So if you're feeling the FOMO, hopefully you can still check out some of the talks that you're interested in and get and see some of the magic, at least in the metaverse. All right, thanks again, everybody. I will see you guys for next week for the next Ask Anyone Anything lunch.
Thanks, Willie.
Thanks, guys.